I have almost no respect for 343 as a studio.
One of the biggest fumbles in video game history, abandoned in the span of a
delay
year.
every feature that has been promised,
In this one
and to outright
foul
cancel
swoop,
a feature
343, you
promised
have
over 5 years
finally
ago.
and completely lost any and all trust and faith I had in you as a company, as a brand, and as the shepherds of Halo. Every Halo fan right now that is pissed off about the current state of Infinite and 343 wants to be proven wrong.
A natural leader. But you had something they didn't. Something no one saw but me. Can you guess? Luck. Was I wrong?
Not many games have reached the heights that the Halo series have. Halo 1, 2, and 3 were all extreme successes that were on every type of ad you could think of. There was no avoiding it. And all of that was lost when 343 was given Halo. 343 just wanted to make their own thing. They completely changed the design of the game, they changed the gameplay. Pretty much everything they were doing to this game was not Halo at all, and it made a lot of people upset. All anyone really wanted from 343 was just a Halo game. And then that beautiful Halo Infinite trailer dropped. Oh yeah, we're back, baby. We're on a Halo ring. We got Mark 6 armor. Covenant's back, part of the main story again. We're on the right track. This is it. This is like what we've all been waiting for. It's almost way too fucking good to be true. And it was. Like every other AAA game that comes out now, Halo Infinite was painfully unfinished. There was no co-op campaign, no Forge, no split screen. Not that I really care about split screen, to be honest. It was pretty trash, but they didn't give up, and thank God that they didn't, because Halo's back.
Oh! I can't
Not immune to its problems, but dude, playing this game right now really feels like that classic Halo experience. I've put like almost 100 hours into it. I've played pretty much every game mode. I even took my shot at rank to see if I was any good, and I'm not. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we gotta talk finances here. We gotta talk about the sponsor. I don't have a fucking sponsor. I've got like 70 subscribers. Come on now, you dingus. Now, my two favorite new things that 343 has added are these seasonal playlists called Squad Battle and Halo 3 Refueled. And this playlist is actually kind of poetic because it's a callback to the old Mountain Dew Halo 3 ads. These game modes are essentially just classic Halo maps remade to be played on Halo Infinite. Now hear me out though, I'm probably very biased because I love the Halo 3 aesthetic and I love these old maps, but I gotta say, the movement and gadgets from Halo Infinite flow so well on these maps. And the nostalgia from these maps is great, but what really stands out is just the amount of fun I've had playing these maps with friends.
James, I flat, dude.
I gotta say, it feels amazing having seasonal playlists like this that are actually unique. Because the playlists before were just Super Fiesta or King of the Hill game modes that should have just been in the regular playlist, which they are now. But what we're getting now are what seasonal events should be like, you know, unique and really fun. Not game modes that were in the regular playlist from previous games. On the topic of maps being added to the game, 343 has also added 2 new maps to Halo Infinite, and they're actually pretty cool. These maps are called Prism and Forbidden. And there's actually this great, like, Halo sense of attention to detail with these maps. Like, it just feels like they actually cared about the possible story behind the maps. Needler. Prism is this super cool mining cave with giant Needler crystals everywhere, almost as if this is where the needles for the Needler come from.
So they do mine.
And there's also this special campaign weapon in the map that each team has to like fight for to like keep control of the game, you know? It's pretty sick. And then you have Forbidden, and it's this like asymmetrical Delta Halo type map. It's definitely going to be on the more competitive side of things. Like, you're probably going to see this in ranked, but it flows pretty well. What you won't find on this map are any cool gadgets whatsoever. I looked. There's no grappling hook or repulsor, so you better watch your step because if you aren't careful, you will be falling off the map. But I do understand why they don't have these gadgets because this map is supposed to be competitive, so I get it. A little pro tip with movement in the game, you can do this thing called drop sliding where essentially all you do is sprint to a ledge and then when you hit the ground, slide, and you'll get this huge super boost that'll send you, flying into a military checkpoint or something. There's so much detail packed into these new maps, from the older maps to the nostalgic spots to the new maps to the classic Halo style. The architecture changes that remind you what the Halo story is really like. Everything reminds you of that classic Halo experience, so it gives you plenty of reason to go ruckus around with your boat.
No.
Even just playing these maps, I love seeing the little things added, like the grapple hook and the crashed pelican on Valhalla, the racing warthogs on Rat's Nest, and then seeing them get blown up and go flying like 50 feet. Absolute Sweatlord can noob combo you and ninja your friend all in one move. It's wonderful.
This guy's insane, Wiley. That was
Not
like that guy's
not.
I will say some of the armor still looks weird as hell. Like it's like 343 just took their biggest weebs and put them in a room together to decide what the next armor set should be. Like look at this armor. It's like this weird ass futuristic samurai banana. And not just like any banana, I mean like a perfectly ripe and pointy banana. Along with ridiculous cosmetics, there's still also some ridiculous prices in the shop. And like, I know they went back and they tried to fix some things and they made it better than it was, but still, they're charging like 20 bucks for like one skin because they just know it will sell. And trust me, they fucking sell. Alright, enough of that. Now listen though, I know the game's free to play and they've got to make their money somehow. So, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, especially considering they're not the only game that charges a fuck ton for a video game skin. But I still do definitely feel like the game would be way more immersive if I wasn't seeing banana Spartans and hunchback Spartans and Spartans with fucking six-packs every time I joined a lobby. Like, personally, I just feel like Halo isn't the kind of game for that kind of armor and stuff like that. Like, I just feel like the game would thrive so much more if we just went back to that, like, Mark V, Halo Reach, just, like, classic, Halo aesthetic. The customization from Halo Reach was so sick, and everybody had their own Spartan that often reflected how much time they put into the game by putting armor unlocks behind challenges instead of paywalls. And I'm not saying there isn't room for new unique armor and a unique take on customization in Halo, but I just feel like the game would feel a lot more like a Halo game if I wasn't seeing fucking Optimus Prime every time I loaded into a match. If I wanted that, I would just go play fucking Fortnite, and not because I like it, strictly because I'm a man of principle. So we talked about how the game looks and its armor. Now let's talk about how this game feels. Let's talk about that good old Halo combat.
Oh my god!
What I love about Halo Infinite since Season 5 is just everything feels so goddamn good. With things added like the grapple hook on old maps like Valhalla, it adds a whole new element to the game. Like, you can grapple up, sling yourself up, catch a snipe, drop down, and then fucking do it again. I said this earlier, but like, seriously, I can't stress it enough. The gadgets from Halo Infinite really do add like this amazing new element to these old maps and make them feel fresh and new and just really, really fun. And I think the best way to say what I'm trying to say is these gadgets just feel supernatural on these old maps. Like, it just feels like they were made with the intent of a grappling hook or a repulsor being there, but they weren't. I mean, these gadgets weren't even thought of when these maps were made, and that was years ago, but it just feels so right. Like, it should have been there from the beginning. And I get this insane satisfaction from pushing people off the map in Guardian. And the spawn for the repulsor is literally right there. Like, they're just begging you to, throw people into the pit. Halo's a lot more fast-paced now because of grappling hooks and shit like that. But it makes you feel a lot more like a comic book Master Chief when you're able to, repulse someone off the map and then ninja someone behind you, Which, on the topic of ninjaing, I fucking love the ninja medal and like all the other medals that pop up in chat. It makes it so much more rewarding when you get one of those. There is a few things that could change in the combat, like the plasma pistol not being able to stun vehicles, but this fucking dynamo grenade stuns any vehicle that comes within 10 feet of it, and it stuns the vehicle for like fucking way too long. 343, please fix this. On the topic of vehicles, I don't know if I just never noticed this or if this was a change that was made recently, but I love the vehicle physics right now. I think it's hilarious when you're driving in a Warthog with your friends and some random Spartan throws a nade at you and you do this crazy Warthog kickflip and your gunner kills the guy mid-flip. Those moments really just remind me of Halo. But to add to that, I do think that the sticky grenade can be way too strong against vehicles. Like, even if you're full health, one sticky grenade can kill everyone in the vehicle.
God damn it, dude!
The next thing I gotta mention is I think the networking feels really good right now. It used to be god-awful, but now 343 announced that they are reworking the networking from the ground up. And they even just dropped a recent patch that has made the game feel really good. And it's important to have good networking in a game like Halo, where vehicles are driving everywhere and wraith blasts are coming across the map and so on. The last thing I want to talk about is something I like to call the ghost. Okay, everyone calls it that. I just wanted to have like a cool moment. I thought the ghost was going to be super weak and not a viable option, but now when I spawn, I beeline straight to the ghost on every map. I don't know if it's just me, but the ghost just speaks to me. I love zooming over to the enemy spawn and hitting strafing runs, just wiping out the enemy team, all while they're scattering, trying to find cover or like a fusion coil to throw at me. But little do they know, I'm a freaking movement god in this thing. I go all out Covenant. I fucking zoom across, circle around this one guy, zoom away, hit a ramp, hold the brakes so I go flying across, and then land, and then outrun this Banshee that's been chasing me the whole game. I'm the fucking arbiter, man. One thing I want to mention is power weapons. It's pretty obvious, but power weapons are just stronger weapons in the map. But I've noticed with people who've been on my team lately, they don't seem to understand that power weapons are like crucial no matter what map you play on. They just think it's this optional for fun and stuff, I guess, kind of thing. I'll admit there's a couple weapons that are new to Halo, so you may have to learn some of them instead of just grabbing the sniper rifle because you think you're going to be the next phase member.
Oh my god, I'm nasty.
But you need to get these new weapons. Like getting the Cinder Shot or even the Battle Rifle are huge, and you shouldn't miss out on them in your game. Have I learned the spawns for every weapon on every map? No, I swear. But power weapons are important. Power weapons are where most people get their kill streaks, impossible kills that they should not have gotten, and the most fun in their experience. As far as combat goes, it is really strong for a Halo game. Like, arguably the best. But it still has shortcomings.
Damn it.
I mentioned before, but I was blown away. The plasma pistol does literally nothing to vehicles. The tracking rocket is way too OP. It's literally impossible to deal with it unless you're at like point blank range, and at that point all you can do is make sure that the guy who shoots you kills himself too. There's no assassinations, which is a whole discussion. There's a plethora of old Halo weapons and vehicles that just aren't in the game. I could start listing them, but I wouldn't know where to stop, so I'll just put an image up of a bunch of stuff. It's just kind of crazy because they have this like great chance to add all these old maps and the old weapons on these maps to go with them, but they didn't do it. So as far as weapon variety goes, the game is severely lacking. On a more positive note, the game's sound design is really good. The gadget sounds, the vehicle sounds, the gun sounds especially, all sound fantastic. I love the difference between a Covenant vehicle and the American like engine-y sound of the Warthog. Hitting headshots with a sniper sounds and feels absolutely brutal, like you just blew their fucking skull open, which is what you're doing. But the music is fucking fantastic in the game. Of course, it's a Halo game. And this one's more of a personal gripe that I kind of wish every game did, but I wish it was more normal to put a game's best soundtrack in a multiplayer match. So like, you know, when you're really going off and you're going on a killing spree or whatever it is, that music kicks in and it just makes you feel like it's real. No, but at least the music does sound amazing. I think 343 did a great job on that part. This is a Halo game with a lot of potential and a lot of expectations. A lot of expectations. And I'll just preface what I'm about to say with, in general, Halo is the only game of its kind, and I'm sure that's because it's a tough, tricky thing to master. When you're trying to appease such a huge fan base and keep things new and refreshing, a lot of things can go wrong. I'm saying this because I know a lot of people are probably going to disagree with what I'm about to say, but it's a rare occasion where you can play a PvP shooter and feel invested in just the casual play of it. My favorite Halo game ever is Halo 3, like many people, primarily because I've never felt so locked in with a game before, but didn't really feel like I was sweating and felt more like I was just having fun. I don't have to jump through hurdles by learning movement tech or practicing aim or you know, treating this game like a job if I want to get good, quote unquote. Or listen to my highly competitive teammates overshare so much of how they feel about our teammates, even though that is literally me every game.
All because you had to get the fucking power weapon.
All this being said, I like Halo Infinite's multiplayer. The return of old maps is really cool. The gadgets I like a lot. Like a lot, but I like these things the most because I've never felt like these things were wasting my time. Unlike a lot of the older things 343 was doing that filled the game with monotonous game modes and overpricing, 343's devs took their sweet ass time to get to where we're at now. This game released in 2021. It's been 3 years. 3 years to get a feasible product. It just feels like 343 still has a lot of pride involved with what they're trying to make. Which brings me to my next point. They won't give up this whole, this is a Spartan story idea. Like, if the reception from the old maps being brought back isn't enough proof that you should go back to the way things were, I don't know what is. And by no means am I saying this is the worst idea ever. It's an okay take. Look at ODST, for example. But this is a classic Halo game, so things like elites and all of the old weapons just need to be there. There's just so many examples I can think of where an old Halo weapon would be perfect in this situation, or when it would feel sick to see other elites running with you on the battlefield. On top of that, 343 was always usually talking about really stupid ideas like, let's add King of the Hill as a season event. Like, dude, we are literally playing Halo. This should have been here from the start, not as some stupid featured event. So, like I said earlier, my favorite playlists are Squad Battle and Halo 3 Refueled. And you're also probably going to be spending a lot of time on those game modes. And listen, at first when I played them, I was kind of worried. The first map I got was Last Resort, and it has this giant windmill in the middle, but it doesn't even spin. It's a windmill that doesn't even spin. The playlist doesn't have like a ton of new maps, but it definitely has enough for variety. But I swear to God, like, you'll find yourself playing the same maps over and over and over again. And you'll also be seeing a lot of the same people over and over again. Yerk Durgan, I'm talking about you. Which can be kind of fun if you're toxic like me and you teabag everyone you kill. So like you build this rivalry with certain players, and then you have like this awkward moment where you're on the same team. But these are such notoriously good maps, and normally you would experience them in just bits and pieces. You know, you would get on this map every now and then, but for whatever reason you play them over and over again a lot of the time, so they kind of get a little spoiled and, you know, just kind of strung out. It's kind of disappointing because, like, you know, you're like fiending for this one map, and then you finally get the map, and then you play it 4 times in a row, and it's just like you're begging for it to change. After a while, my brain would just go like AI Tesla robot mode and just like make my own routes subconsciously to get the best weapons. All that being said, of course, I still do love this playlist, and I still do love these old maps. And yes, it can be repetitive playing the same one over and over again, but eventually you realize you just can't stop queuing because every match is just so goddamn fun. And dude, it's really crazy seeing the visual enhancements on these maps. I had to look at a lot of old footage just to kind of compare and see what the difference is between the maps. And dude, the lighting and shadows on the old maps were atrocious. Now they look extremely good. But now that I'm on the subject of maps and squad battle and all the stuff that I talked about in the beginning of the video, I think I'm running out of things to say. All in all, these seasons have added so much new, good content to the game, and 343 is on like an insanely good path right now. They even added Firefight back, which is huge, even though I'm not much of a firefight guy, to be honest. I'm just so surprised with the amount of listening it seems like 343 is doing. They've added AI and Forge, they've added multi-core helmets and shoulders, and they just added this sick-ass Mark IV armor core. So they're killing it with all of the customization. So, thank you 343. They definitely did not slack by bringing the heat with these past few seasons and just reviving their game to a classic Halo experience. I'm having a ton of fun with Halo Infinite, and a large portion of hope and faith has been restored in 343. Great job 343, and good luck with Halo Wars 3. And thank you to you gamers for watching this video. I'm hella nervous to upload it. I've never put this amount of work into a video before. But with that said, I have one last thing to say. Cheers. Bitch. I didn't mean it. Please don't